I've been a little frustrated with the rate at which I complete comic pages. I want to draw faster. I want to get things done more quickly. I love comics. I love it even more when I finish them and get them out into the world and people can actually read them so I can move on to the next book and stuff. Like, I want to get books out, and I'm finding it more and more difficult to complete pages in what I think is a timely fashion. So I finally broke down and got myself a Pomodoro timer to help me focus. And so far, I think it's been working out pretty well. Way back in the before times, the ancient times, I was doing a webcomic and I had a 3-time-a-week update schedule. Each comic was maybe 3 to 4 panels, not that much. And the backgrounds were definitely not as detailed as the stuff I'm doing now. But I was able to do it pretty consistently. And I was even able to up that from 3 to 5 days a week at one point. I scaled back because it was just insane. But I was able to draw quickly, efficiently, tell my stories in a way that worked. Like, I could have definitely spent more time per panel, but I was drawing enough so that my audience could understand what was going on, get the jokes, all that good stuff. So I've done it before. I've drawn efficiently before. I've drawn at a decent pace before. In fact, when we were pitching School for Extraterrestrial Girls, I did 3 full comic pages, pencils, inks, and colors in a week to get the pitch out. And I've drawn way more since then, and I draw better. My characters are more solid. My expressions are more expressive. Everything about my work has improved since then, except the rate at which I work. I definitely noticed something broken in my brain during the pandemic. My ability to focus on a single task just went out the window. I think social media is definitely a big culprit. I felt like I needed to be on everything in order to remind people that I'm still here, but also I felt like I needed to be informed like all the time. And slowly but surely, probably not slowly, because these systems are designed to steal your attention, whatever concentration I had just evaporated. So I don't think I've really dealt with that, but I think the pandemic just broke my brain for a little bit, for a lot of it. So I noticed something was happening, but I thought that I could gear my way out of it. Like I could fix my setup so that I could work more efficiently. I moved my setup up here. I got a VESA mount arm for my drawing tablet because I felt like, if I could move it at different angles, I could draw more efficiently. I was working with a 12-inch tablet. I think it was a Wacom something. And I upgraded to a 16-inch Huion canvas, whatever. I figured a bigger drawing area would help me draw quicker because I could see more of my canvas. It did help a little bit. I also switched from Photoshop to Clip Studio Paint for inking, which is now my go-to for pretty much everything, unless I need to do stuff in CMYK, which is when I'll fire up Photoshop again, unfortunately. But Clip definitely made things a lot easier. The built-in ruler tools are extremely helpful for backgrounds, techie backgrounds that require straight edges and all that kind of stuff. And the vector layers also help with background things. Like if I need a subtle curve in something, that's a lot easier than trying to draw it by hand, erase it, draw it again, erase it, draw it again. So parts of that definitely helped in terms of efficiency. I also started to get into mechanical keyboards, which I'll talk about at some later date. But I was able to program macros to help me do certain tasks like flipping the canvas quickly or saving and undoing and filling here, bucket fill here, bucket fill there. So like I physically optimized as much as I could, which did help. Like all these investments in the gear and the programs that I used definitely helped. It definitely increased the pace with which I could complete my comic pages. But kind of surface level stuff. I wasn't really addressing the base issue, which was that my focus was north and south, here and there. I'm Mr. Fucking Do It to my friends. Like, I have wristbands. I hand them out to my friends when they're having trouble getting something done. I'm just, I grab them and say, just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. So I figured I could do the same. I could just fucking do it. I could just fucking sit down and draw the things. And sometimes it would happen. Sometimes I could just sit down and fucking do it. Sometimes I would sit down and nothing would happen. And sometimes that is part of the process. Drawing comics sometimes means sitting there and letting things process in your brain. But those times were getting longer and longer. The thing that kind of convinced me that I needed to change my brain was that I got a lot of work come in all at once. I had a bunch of commissions that came in at the same time that aren't too complicated, but they require a lot of time to complete. And I got contacted to work on another book while I'm finishing this one, which felt great. I'm relatively unknown. I'm not on many people's radars. And if I'm on people's radars, I'm not usually on editors' radars. So when I got the call, I was like, this is great. I let them know that I'm still in the middle of a project. And they said, we can work something out. I definitely still want to work with you. And that felt really good. So I said yes to the dress. And then I realized if I continue working the way I've been working, these things will never happen. So that's when I looked into the Pomodoro technique and decided to jump in head first. I didn't really do much research. I heard about the technique. Basically, you give yourself 25 minutes to concentrate on your task. Then you rest 5 minutes. That 5-minute cycle, that's called a Pomodoro. Pomodoro is tomato. So I don't have a tomato, but I have a dharma. So you do one Pomodoro, one rep, then you do the next one, then you do the next one, and then you do the next one. So it's like a 4x4. So once you've done 4 Pomodoros, you take a break, like a 25 minute break. And then you start the process again. So 25 minutes, 5 minutes. 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 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 break. I bought an app off the iTunes store. It's called Forest. It's like $4 or something. I figured if I have a financial investment in this timer, I will use it. It's like $4. Who cares? Whatever. But the fact that I paid for it makes me feel like I need to use it, right? I like Forest because it gamifies the whole thing. Like, instead of tomatoes, you're planting a garden. So you have these different trees that you can unlock. And there are other achievements that you can unlock the more you do certain things, like the more days in a row you use it, or a certain number of hours, you can unlock a thing and get coins that you can purchase more trees. Like, it's a whole ecosystem. And it tricks your brain into like focusing on these tasks, because not only are you completing the task that you're setting out, but you're also unlocking new stuff and acquiring more stuff. And I've only been using it for like a week and a half, but already I've accomplished way more than I have been in the past couple months, at least in terms of time it's been taking me to finish stuff. I'm also drawing less, which is hard to train yourself to do, but comics is about the storytelling, it's about the characters, it's about the emotions that you're trying to convey. And spending time drawing a piece of rubble in a corner, it looks pretty, but it doesn't really add to the storytelling element of what you're working on. Using the Pomodoro timer to help me focus in those little chunks has definitely helped. And it's helped me work more efficiently in terms of focusing on what I need to draw to tell the story, if that makes sense. It's not the be all and end all solution. I don't necessarily think I'm using it properly. Like, sometimes instead of taking a 5-minute break, I'll just hit the timer again and keep going. Or sometimes I'll take a longer break in between, just because my mind still tends to wander. And then I realize what's happening. So I try to bring myself back. So I'm still trying to get into this Pomodoro habit, And there's also times when I definitely take a longer time because I'm looking up a reference and I need to search up something else that's stealing a little bit of time, but it's also helping to accomplish the drawing task. So like if I need an angle, or if I'm setting up a thing and I need to find that specific thing, sometimes I'll blow past the timer and I'm going. But in general, it's started to help retrain my brain. I can start to feel my brain coming back to me. Like I can feel like I can concentrate again and actually do my job and actually get these pages out there. And it's a good feeling. And I guess I'm a little upset with myself that I didn't realize that, it was in here, not the exterior stuff. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes the gear does help. Like the mechanical keyboard stuff, I will do a whole thing about that. But that has definitely helped. Not only in being able to program macros, but it's very satisfying. Like tapping on the keys, it's like a fidget that I can use every single moment when I'm working. Because like I'm a keyboard shortcut ninja when it comes to drawing. Like I don't need a fancy macro pad. Just give me a full keyboard with the clicky clackies and I'm good to go. But that can only get you so far. So if you're finding yourself having trouble focusing on your comics and you've done all the physical things that you can do, like you've bought the brushes that you need and you've got the ink that makes things flow so much better for you, you might want to look into some productivity techniques. In terms of the Pomodoro technique, there are hella apps out there that you can buy or just download. There's timers on the web, or you could just use an actual timer. Set it for 25 minutes, do your thing. When the bell goes off, set it for another 5 to chill. And then that's your tomato. And then have at it. But whatever you need to get you in the habit of spending at least 25 minutes focusing on your task, I think it's worth it. That'll do for now. If you have other productivity techniques that help you draw your pages, please let me know. I'm definitely on the lookout for what other people are doing. I hope you keep drawing. I hope you keep making stuff, because the world will be better with your stories out there. And I think we're going to be needing a lot more of that. Always. I mean, we always need more stories. We always need to hear your point of view, because that's how we'll learn more about each other. So, all right. I've got to start my next session. So I'll catch you later. Bye.